So hello, welcome to the new year of 2022. It's Loretta West, certified Zentangle teacher, soul collage facilitator, and all-around art gal. And today we're going to have a really fun lesson. You are going to need some paper. Now I think for this lesson, you could use a square Zentangle tile, which I don't have one right here. Oh, here's just a sample of one about this size, and it might work, but you might want a bigger piece of paper because there's a few elements in it, so it might look a little bigger. So I'm going to use my sketchbook, which is a Strathmore mixed media paper. Size on this one is a 300 series size, 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, or 14 by 21.6 centimeters. It's 117-pound paper, so it's quite thick and good for all medium. I'm just going to rip one of those pieces out of there. Like that. And you're going to need a pencil. I've got a Zentangle pencil, which is an HB pencil. You're going to need a fine tip pen. And so I've got the Faber-Castell pens this morning, 0.3 microns. Let's see here. Okay, and I'm just going to let people in here. Hang on a sec. 0.3 microns. I have a couple of them in case we have a problem and run out of ink. And I also have a fatter nib, so you might want that today because we'll be using some heavy lines. And it is a Faber-Castell medium, which is it written on here what it is? They don't think they did this. These are older, so they don't have how thick it is, but it is that thick. That gives you an idea. So it's probably about an 05, I would say, 05 or an 08, if you're using another brand. Have a little tea here. And then you're going to need, invite you to color if you wish. I'm going to be using a couple of yellowish Prismacolor pencils. This is number 1002, which is yellow to orange, and 917, which is something sun. All I know is it's in French. The last is soleil, which is French for sun. So, but it's too little to have the full name. So that's going to be for one part of it. And then I have some markers, and I have Faber-Castell. This is to be a Faber-Castell day. Faber-Castell Pitt pens, which I love because they really last a long time. They're archival and light fast, and they come in this nifty box so that they stand up like this so that you can just pull them out and keep them to the side and pull them out really easily, which is kind of cool. So take a minute to sit in your chair. Take some good deep breaths. Really fill your lungs, and remember that the lungs extend just a long way, so right to the top of your collarbones. I mean, they're big. So take a deep breath and fill that whole space up. Let your shoulders widen with the deep breath. Let it out and feel yourself, the weight of your body on your sitting surface, whatever it is. Just really let yourself sink into the earth, sink into gravity to start with. So I'm going to take my pencil to start, and I'm going to draw sort of more of a rectangle here on my paper. So one line across like that, and it doesn't have to be a straight line. Oh, I forgot to put the dots. Let's put the dots. Oh dear, rusty. So put some dots where I want the lines to end. I'm going to realize them off there, and just a sec here. It's a little better. Okay, and then another dot down here. So I'm making more of a rectangle today, but if you're making a square, that'll work too. come down here and across, sort of straight. So this is my space I'm going to draw in. But you don't have to do that. You could make it edge to edge if you want. Also, with my pencil, I'm going to put in a little horizon line. So I'm not going to do it in the center, okay? Rule of thirds, I'm going to do it about a third down from the bottom, 2/3 from the top. A little dot here and a little dot here. It doesn't have to be straight. It can be wiggly. It's a horizon, and the horizon is not straight. And there's a line going across. Now this next part, you can either do with a pencil and then go over with a pen, or start right with a pen. Whatever your comfort level is today, you don't have to dive right in with a pen if you don't feel that you're capable of doing that today. We all have levels of courage depending on the moment and the time of day and the day of the week. We all just honor wherever your courage is today. So I'm going to start with putting a little dot about right here above the horizon line. And I'm using my pencil to start with. And then a little ways away from that, I'm going to put quite a large sort of circle, kind of what we call an ovoid circle. So sort of square circle. And then I'm going to put a curved line coming this way and a curved line coming that way. And you can make it longer too, if you want to make it out here, so that just do it like that. So I decided that was too short, so I'll do another one. So you decide. And I actually have an eraser. I'm going to use that. Yes, I know. So, okay, already breaking the rules. Yay. And then coming off of here is going to be like a pear shape or a gourd shape. Coming around. And like this. Something like that. And then a little buddy beside. So this one, I'm going to start with a circle, which is the head. And also notice how space here, I'm spacing it quite a ways from the edge. I don't want them too close to the edge. I don't want them bang in the middle either. My elements should be somewhere not there to explain it. But yeah, don't want anything right in the middle. So we're going to do a little buddy right here. Again, this kind of a circle, not have to be exactly a circle. Again, this little dot out here to go to a sort of C shape there and a C shape there. And I'm going to go with this funny little gourd shape here. So you see what we've got going here? We have two bird shapes. Now, to explain a little bit, this was inspired by the work of Norval Morrisseau. And he was an Indigenous artist in Canada, and you can look him up on the internet. And his name is spelled Norvalmorrisseau. And you can see all his beautiful work and read about his life. He had a very interesting life. And we had done a previous one utilizing the Tangle Morrisseau by Cheryl Moot, M-O-O-T-E, of Moot Points. And she had come up, she'd used his inspiration to come up with a tangle called Morrisseau. So you can go back into my YouTube channel and look at that if you haven't done that one. It's also fun. So I'm going to go back and utilize my pen. So I've got my 03 here. And I'm going to go over these lines, these pencil lines. And if I don't like something the way it's shaped or whatever, then I could just change it with my pen. And then in here, I'm going to do a circle and another circle within that circle. So one of the painting I saw by Morisot was just simply called Birds. In his painting, so he depicts usually the raven or the thunderbird. And so I sort of jumped off that idea and I thought, oh, I could do penguins instead. And then what he likes to do, we will also do it, is to thicken those lines. And again, you could use a thicker pen if you want to. So thicken these lines and round, which means just fill in these little triangle spaces. I'm just gonna move my camera a little bit here. Whoop, you can see better. And go around here. Thicken this line. And there. And then in the middle-ish, from the bottom of your circle, draw a slightly curved line. And then about a third down, another line coming off this way, and another line coming off this way. And then about a third of the way from the bottom, another line coming off this way. And it doesn't have to be straight or whatever. It can be anything really. That way. And then we're going to take that. And thicken and round these bits. This reminds me, if you've seen neurographic art, you've been looking at that a lot lately, rounding these edges, and reminds me of that, doing that mindful activity as well. So when Norval Morisot started doing his art forms of nature, animals, plants, and whatnot, utilizing these heavy lines and these, oh goodness, the sun just blasted in. It's blinding me. I'm not used to that. All this fog. Like, wow. Something about that. Okay. Anyway, he started, his work started a movement, and it's called the Woodland, I believe it's called the Woodland Cree Movement of Art, because that was his tribe. And so you'll see a lot of similar designs done in this fashion, especially in the eastern part of Canada, Ontario, Quebec. But I really love it, and I think it's simple and elegant at the same time. So I'm just going over these lines again, making them a little deeper, a little darker. Like I said, you could take I've got a medium Faber-Castell, and I could go around, except that it's dry. In case I don't think I can do anything. Oh, there it goes. It was just sleeping. So hopefully you have something similar to that. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. It can be whatever you want it to be. And maybe you want it to have more sections. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections here. Maybe you want more. And you can put tangles in there, color them, whatever you'd like to do. So what I've done, I'm just going to put in some lovely, elegant diagonal lines with my 03 here. And then I'm going to do another one down here. So I have this flag out front that is a tangled penguin flag. And I look at it often and I think, oh, I could do something similar. It's very cool. They're wearing sweaters and very bright, and they have sweaters and scarves and in the snow. But for some reason, I never have done it. It's like I could easily do that and something similar. And maybe it just, it's funny. But then I did these penguins and it's like, wow, this is better for me. I don't know, I like these more. I could probably put on some scarves on them if I really wanted to. This just seems to fit more. So let's go over to this little baby penguin. And again, I'm going to put this little ovoid shaped eye. Round. If you wanted to, you could probably put penguin feet there too. A foot coming off this one and maybe a couple of foot coming off that one. But I'm just going to keep mine very simple. And for this little guy, I'm going to have a line come this way and then down. It's a little different. I'm going to take my thicker pen and go over. While you're doing this, remember to breathe. Remember to hold your pen lightly if you can. Let yourself sigh. Sighing is a wonderful way of regulating ourselves, regulating our nervous system, coming back home to ourselves, home to our bodies. Just going over these lines again. Sometimes the best path is the path that somebody's already blazed for you. My 03 again and do some rounding in the corners here. Just filling in those little triangles, cleaning up any bits that I think need to be cleaned up. I'm going to take this diagonal line again, my 03, Give you a couple minutes to catch up. Don't feel that you have to finish everything today. You'll certainly finish it on your own time, and the recording will be available on my YouTube channel under Color, COLOUR, Garden Studio. Feel free to like the videos that you see and subscribe so you don't miss anything that's coming along. This one needs to be a little better. Pick up your piece and look at it at a distance. Hold it at arm's length. See if there's anything that you want to change or add. I look at it in the monitor so that my monitor is about 2 feet away. That helps me to see it differently. If you are not sure about something, you're like, I don't know if it's right. I don't know. One way to there's lots of ways to sort of refresh your mind about it. One way is to turn it around, put it against the wall or somewhere where you can't see it for a while and then pull it out later and look at it with fresh eyes. You can look at it like a distance, as we talked about. You can also put it in a place where you don't expect to see it. So I like to put stuff in the bathroom by the mirror. It's like I don't go in there all the time, but I go there once in a while. And so I can look at it with fresh eyes and get some new ideas maybe. And you can also look at something upside down, turn it upside down and see if it needs something to balance it out. So just changing your viewpoint changes everything. I'm going to do a little more. I'm looking at this one here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is with my thicker pen, I'm going to get my thick pen out, and I'm going to restate the horizon line, but not through the head. So I'm going up to the head, jumping over, and picking it up on the other side. So we've already got a story started here. We have the adult penguin, the little penguin. They're having conversation and they're looking up at the sky. And they're looking at something and there's a horizon. So we know they're somewhere in space, on the planet, hopefully, as opposed to just floating around. I'm just going to take if your ink is dry, then you can take a kneaded eraser like this one. And if you don't have one, they're really cheap. Here's Stedler. This is the way they come. And the way you use them is you take them sort of like silly putty and you fold over the parts that are dirty. And eventually you'll have to replace it because they get hard and they get too dirty and then you have to replace them. This one seems to be going. And then you take a little edge and you sort of pet the paper with it. You don't go back and forth. So it's lovely for papers because it doesn't rip or tear the paper like a pink eraser might or a white eraser. Hard eraser does. So I'm just going to go in here and do a little tidying up. Eraser. Okay. So now what are they looking at? Now, if you want to, I'll give you a couple of options. You could do a night sky. So you could do the whole black in here and then use white ink for the stars. That would be beautiful. And that's what I'm going to do after this class. I'll do that. But I came up with another plan that you might want to follow along with. And we are going to do a midnight sun, which they have in Antarctica as they do in the North Pole. So they're going to be looking at it roughly. So it's going to be here. So I'm going to draw an arc. And you can do it with your pencil if you feel it. Oh, I'm not quite ready to do it with a pen. That's okay. So I'm just doing a little arc right here. Because right now in Antarctica, in the southern hemisphere, it is midnight sun time. It is their summer. And then we're going to do the tangle more so. So coming off, I'm just going to start down here and have a line coming off the sun. And the shape, there's all sorts of shapes that you can do. You could just do a little circle. This always reminds me of two things. It reminds me of Tinker Toys, and it reminds me of Licorice All Sorts. And then some of the shapes that he used were sort of a rounded triangle. And you can do that. Another circle. And have them going different. You're connecting lines, have them go in different directions. And you can also do a rounded, well, look at that sun go, rounded rectangle. So if you want to find out all about this Tangle, go to either Tangle Patterns and look up more so, or go to Moot, M-O-O-T-E, Points. That's Cheryl's website, and she's got a really nice little video that she made about how to do this tangle and things that you can add. I'm just gonna add a little line right there. I'm gonna do another circle, part of the circle there. And then we're also going to round in here and round there where the connections are, just a little bit. I grew up in the far north, not North Pole territory, but very far. And we would, in the summer, we would stay up till, I don't know, 3 and 4 in the morning because it was like light, it was like daylight. And we would play volleyball. We play volleyball and swat mosquitoes. There's a lot of mosquitoes. Okay. Now, I'll do another one. No. Another little circle maybe. And a circle within that circle. Have some lines radiating away from there. Making them different. Circle there. I'm alternating the little circles with the big shapes, but you could do it whatever way you'd like. Again, this lovely triangle shape. So if you know a pattern, a Zentangle pattern that would go in there perfectly, I can't think of the name, but I can see it in my head. Feel free to do that. Tipoli might be an idea. That's it. I remember it. Oops. I'm changing the direction of my connecting lines so that they're interesting. They're not straight out. Connecting them right here. Just rounding off these little connections. Go slowly if you can. Remind yourself, remind your body that life can slow down. It's okay. We don't have to go fast. We can go slowly. We can savor the moment. So they're kind of higgledy-piggledy, but that really gives it movement. It's like, I don't know, makes the sun not stationary, but alive. Much gratitude to Norval for creating these beautiful images and folklore and stories. You can see all the possibilities that you've got to put other tangles in these spaces and different tangles in these components here. Lots of possibilities with this. Just giving you a little platform for you to jump and explore upon. So if I were going to do a night sky, I would paint some black ink there. I probably wouldn't use a pen because of all the marks it would leave. I would probably paint with something like this. This is a beautiful ink. It's called the Heart of Darkness. You can buy it online from Noodler's Ink in the States. And it is a beautiful black. It's really is the heart of darkness. It's super dark. And I would paint the above the horizon with this ink and then spatter some white ink for the stars or dot them in with a gel pen or something like that. and like that. So I'm thinking of that. I'm also thinking that this would be a way to make this pattern into a northern light kind of thing, because I do have the southern borealis as well. And there's been a lot of northern light here. There's been a lot of northern light activity. I've not seen it yet. I have an app on my phone that actually alerts me as to when a good chance of seeing activity is, and you can download it if you live in a northern part where you might see them. The problem is that it's been too cloudy to see them, or they've been at 3 in the morning or something like that, and I'm not getting out of bed. But certainly when I was a kid, it was a normal thing, normal regular occurrence. It's like, oh yeah, there's northern lights. Oh yeah. We didn't even think that they were particularly special. They were neat, but because they were like snowflakes, saw them all the time. And for the northern indigenous culture, the northern lights are their ancestors. Okay, we have another one sparking off here. Again, you can thicken any line you want. If you want to go around these shapes again with thickening your lines, go right ahead. So just give you a couple minutes to finish that up, or go as far as you can. Okay. So just looking at coloring of penguins in their black, white, gray, and yellow or goldy yellow. Just going to add some things here. I've got my pencil, colored pencils. There's my colored pencils. There's 2 yellows. I'm just going to add a little bit under the beak here, just on the underside of the beak. Just a blush of color, a lot. And then my darker yellow over top. They also have, penguins have a little yellow under their throat. Just a little bit, not a lot. They also have yellow, like some of them have a yellow patch right there. I'll leave that out. Little artistic license here. But you can do whatever you like. Have a look at some penguins, some penguin images online, and come up with your own ideas. Maybe you want to color in these blank spaces some more, some bright colors. Or put other tangles there. Okay. And then for the sun, I could color the sun in, but I'm going to color the sun in. I think I'll think about that later. But I'm going to put some bright colors in for these. These things, these shapes up here. So I've got a nice blue here. This is a Faber-Castell brush pen, and the color is phthalo blue. And my favorite colors here. This is a light cobalt turquoise. Maybe orange here to contrast the blues. So we've got a orange glaze and the yellow. Picking up some of the yellow that's in the birds. This is a cadmium yellow. Let's start with that one. I'm just going to color in a few of the shapes here with the yellow, just sort of going here and there. But you don't have to color anything if you don't want to. Just like that, or you want to do a little shading maybe. It's up to you. It's your space, your project, your creation, nobody else's. The yellow over there. Ooh, I like that, just the yellow actually. Oh, maybe I'll just keep it. We'll go with orange next and think about the blue. So let's do the orange in here. That really sets things off, doesn't it? Picked up a little bit of background right there, so I'm just going to wipe it off. I like that. I'm not sure if I want to add any blue. I think. If I do, I think we'll go with a darker blue. And so this is just, I'm going to put it over here to see if I like it. I'm just going to do a little bit, not a lot, because it's pretty bright, pretty bold in the blue department. There. Just has some bead shape there. And you could leave little highlights on them. Oh, that does look good. Okay. Never sure sometimes. Just a little bit. And then on the interior ovoid shape here of the eye, I'm going to use this blue. And bringing that color down. So you have harmony. And that is it. So I called this Midnight Sun, Norval Morrisseau. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're watching the video, please subscribe to my channel and hit like if you like this video. And please feel free to share your work either on social media, on Instagram. You can tag me Loretta, LORETTA.west.artist, or you can join the Tangle Tuesday Facebook page and share your art there. We'd love to see it. Until we meet again, take care and be well.